One day, Tony woke up with an inclination to discover Newton's life accomplishments. He got out of bed and proceeded downstairs to his computer to study Newton for the whole day.
I'm not worried about no triple double. As long as we win.
Oh, dang! Senior Alex Ashe awoke one morning thinking to himself, who was Sir Isaac Newton really? Who was the man behind the genius? Ashe hopped out of bed and sprinted downstairs quickly to quench his thirst for knowledge. The next day, Alex happened to bump into Tony on the street while he was shooting some hoops Terrence Jones style. They then went inside to discuss their findings on Sir Isaac Newton and Terrence Clutchman Jones.
Oh, Ash, what up, dude? What's up, dude? Dang. Oh, man. Oh, I got it, bro. Dude, I had some break back something I didn't do. Let's go inside and talk about that. Let's go.
Oh, hey, Ash. So what have you been up to, man?
Well, you might think this is a bit odd, but all of yesterday, I've just been researching Sir Isaac Newton.
No way, me too, man!
Oh, dude, genius minds think alike, obviously.
Of course, bro, dude.
So I was just like researching on like how weird of a guy he really is, behind all the facts and like what he did.
Yeah, dude, that's really interesting. I was just researching like his life as a whole and like all his accomplishments in the various fields.
Oh yeah. So maybe we should discuss this.
Yes, we definitely should.
Yeah.
Isaac Newton was born January 4th, 1643 in Woolstrop, England. His father, also Isaac Newton, was a simple farmer and died before Newton was born. His mother, Hannah Ashcoff, left him with his grandmother when he was only 3 to go live with her new husband, Barnabas Smith, a wealthy rector. After his mother became a widow for the second time, she returned and attempted to make Newton into an honest farmer like his father. Fortunately, the attempt was a complete disaster, and Newton went on to Trinity College in Cambridge. Newton was a brilliant individual who made many contributions to various fields, including his invention of infinitesimal calculus, the generalized binomial theorem, the universal law of gravitation, which Cavendish would complete, his work in optics, working with prisms and the light spectrum, and perhaps most notably, his Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica. Newton received many honors in his life, such as being knighted and being a member of Parliament. After a long and full life, he died on March 20th, 1927, at the age of 84.
As Isaac Newton grew up, he thoroughly resented his stepfather, and when he was 19 years old, he threatened to burn his father and mother Smith and the house over them. Sir Isaac Newton was fascinated with alchemy and the apocalypse throughout his life. For this reason, Newton spent the better part of his life attempting to decode the Bible and considered his greatest work to be his interpretation of the Book of Daniel. After some 50 years and 4,500 pages of work, Newton concluded that the second coming of Christ would follow plagues and war and would precede a 1,000-year reign by the saints on earth, with one of the saints being Sir Isaac Newton himself. Some of his documents show that he He predicted the apocalypse to occur in 2060, sometime during her lifetime, unfortunately. Newton had a social disorder, and a Cambridge psychologist considered it fairly certain that Newton had Asperger's syndrome. Asperger's syndrome is a social disorder that leads one to have restricted and repetitive patterns of behaviors and interests. This is one of the reasons why he spent so much time on the Bible and working on physics and calculus. For example, an old widow described Newton as the poor crazy gentleman living next door because every morning he would blow soap bubbles in the sunlight to study the refraction of light upon thin plates. Newton also disputed the idea of the Trinity.
Perhaps what Newton is really most famous for, is for his book Principia, the universal law of gravitation, and his 3 laws of motion. In class, I feel like we've thoroughly gone over most of his 3 laws and all of their implications. But, just to be on the safe side, here's a quick recap in Lego land.
Yes! Okay, so you're telling me after our days of discussion that if you take the gravitational constant that Sir Isaac Newton and Cavendish came up with, multiplied by the Earth's mass, and divided by the Earth's radius squared, you come up with 9.81.
Yeah, gravity on Earth.
Nah, I don't believe that. No. No. So in conclusion, for all of Newton's threats and radical interpretations of the Bible, he was still a great and brilliant man. We think this quote we found sums him up pretty well. If I have seen further, it is only by standing on the shoulders of giants. Here Newton demonstrates his humility by crediting all his accomplishments to the predecessors in his fields of study.